My boy, the GOAT, Leigh Whannell is back, and it's been a minute since his last one. Invisible Man came out 5 years ago, dude, and with that, I was ecstatic as fuck to see Wolfman. So, was it worth the wait? I will say yes, I think this is a good film, but I will also say that I think that this is probably my least favorite of Leigh Whannell's directed films, at least in terms of in comparison to The Invisible Man and Upgrade. Not so much Insidious 3, which is wrapped up in a franchise, it's a bit harder to compare, but out of his standalone films, I'll say that Wolfman, I think, is kind of by far probably his least impressive. That being said, when it comes to Leigh Whannell and his films in general, you know, his least best film is still like high above the stars, better than, you know, most films that come out. I think that Leigh Whannell is a genius creatively when it comes to his writing and directing and all that stuff. I'm always going to support this guy. I'm always going to be excited to see what he does next. And with that being said, Wolfman is a project that makes a lot of sense from him, you know, coming from tackling these universal classic monster stories last time in Invisible Man and now this. I will say that Wolfman is sort of a less modernized take on the tale and more so just a classic retelling. I mean, it is set in modern day, but it hinges on that detail a bit less, if that makes sense. Where I do think that this movie modernizes itself in particular is how it's shot and directed, and also in terms of how gnarly and brutal it can be at certain moments. It is sparing, but when it does show gore moments, it's fairly strong. That being said, I've read quite a bit of middling to negative reviews, like on Letterboxd and stuff, and to be honest, I don't really get it. I don't really see where that's coming from, and I highly disagree. I won't say that this is a flawless film, not even close really. You can pick details apart, like the fact that it is quite dark, for instance, just like literally the way that it's shot. Lighting wise, it's quite dark, which isn't so much an issue when you're seeing this thing in cinemas, but it is something to point out in terms of when it comes to streaming and other people are watching it for the first time, or even like people like myself who are watching it on a rewatch. There's gonna be less to see, I feel like. There's gonna be less pop in the details, particularly if you're watching it at the daytime, which I know that's probably not like the preferable way to watch a movie like this, but hey, I watch horror movies during the day, and yeah, I feel like it's going to be quite a bit less effective at home. Something that I can really highly praise about this film is Christopher Abbott's performance, as he is sort of this man who is falling to pieces throughout this film as he kind of succumbs to this curse that is found upon himself. There's a sense of degradation within this film as you watch this man sort of become more animalistic bit by bit. It's a slow process as he gives in to the beast within. And something else that really elevates the material beside that is that though this is a very high concept, simple premise, you know, it's something that you know where it's going to go. There's not a hell of a lot of surprises plot-wise. But I think that Leigh Whannell really heightens the material in terms of getting to those emotional heights that is sort of required to care about this kind of story. Like this moment where the film sort of emphasizes a certain point about how the main character in the Wolfman guy senses are getting heightened. And it kind of starts off as like this, oh, this is a creepy maybe jump scare moment, before it turns into an oh shit moment. And I won't say what it is, but I found little moments like these to be very powerful in terms of how it sort of depicts and explains what the experience of what this guy is going through. Something else that I wanted to point out about this is that although I would say that this is probably Leigh Whannell's least ambitious film in terms of concept, this is by far his highest budgeted film. It cost $25 million, but in comparison, Invisible Man cost $7 million to make and Upgrade cost $3 million. And it's kind of weird to actually put that into perspective because I think that Wolfman actually does quite a bit less in terms of visuals. I was quite surprised by this sort of distinction. You know, they went all out on this film and I don't really think it's going to pay off. I think this is unfortunately going to be a flop, and I hope that doesn't mean bad things for Leigh Whannell in the future because he's proven himself before with these minuscule budget films that go big at the box office. So I think from now on he should probably stick to those limitations because I think they maybe push him to be a bit more creative. So I guess I think that's about all that I have to say. I feel like I haven't said enough. I feel like this was a movie that had a lot of build up for me. I've been looking forward to it, but I'm not sure I have that much to say about it other than, yeah, I liked it quite a bit. That's about all I have to say. Do the things before you go, please, which are like, comment, share, subscribe, all that shit, we know. And yeah, that's it. Goodbye.